I see your ass eavesdropping. This is Rich for the YC.
Oh well, you know who's over here, man. It's Corey chilling in here with Rich. We about to get it in.
And today's alcohol of the show is Rowan's Creek, Kentucky Bourbon Whiskey from Bardstown, Kentucky.
It's pretty serious too. Which says like 100 proof.
It's 100 proof, 50% alcohol. I'm a big fan of Basil Hayden, so we were using this as to compare it to it. And I still think I like Basil Hayden more.
Oh yeah, Basil Hayden without a doubt is better. In fact, that's one of my go-tos. But you know, trying something new is always nice, especially when you're sitting here just want to sip on something.
Yeah, especially with bourbon, they could be hit or miss. This one, the color is somewhat amber, but it's not as sweet as it doesn't have a sweet finish like Basil Hayden does.
Mm-hmm.
It still has a harsh finish. So if you want to fill your whiskey when you're drinking it, this is the right one for you.
If you like to get to the point,
we always want to get to the point.
If you like to get to the point, you might enjoy this.
So we'll let you know what level our drunk is at the end of the show. One being might need to take 40 Motrin. 10 might be where's the food at, and I think we're good to go.
Then again, you might be able to tell our level of drunkenness by the end of the show. Who knows?
Don't hold our slurring against us. So I think about this occasionally, and it just always tends to bother me. I'm sure you have female friends, and how many of them like to say that they think like niggas?
Too many of them say they think like niggas, but usually they only say they think like niggas after they've been heartbroken and want to think like niggas. But it's not that simple. It's just impossible to do. The way I see it is, I've never woken up as a woman. Not one day. The day isn't coming where I'm gonna think like a woman. Because I've never been a woman.
Nor is there a desire.
Exactly. So I don't see the point of me even saying or considering that I would think like a woman. I have a healthy understanding of the fact that I don't understand. There's something there that I just know I'm not going to understand because I'm never going to be them. So when people say something like I think like a nigga, something has went wrong somewhere for somebody to say that if you're a woman.
And generally, you find the women that do say they think like men, and they're generally the ones that are single, fresh off heartbreak, and are having a hard time finding someone to care about them. And I don't know if that is a coping mechanism for them to rationalize why they can't, find that person that wants to be with them, or vice versa. Or in their mind, it's just they feel that they're different because that they're a woman, and they're giving into their primal desires, like they just want to fuck. Just because you want to fuck doesn't mean you think like a man.
Well, I mean, we've discussed this many times. Like, men don't actually even think like that. Even if men are going around habitually fucking for recreational purposes, all men know that if the right woman comes along, like that's automatically out the window. Until that point, yeah, I mean, you're a single man, you're going to act like a single man. That's really what it comes down to. But to say you think like a man, you have to first understand a man's emotional state. And it's not a state that is just a mouth hoeing. Like, if you have no significance, then you have no significance. You're a disposable asset to men. I mean, that's really the reality of it. So at that point, like we know that this isn't a woman we're gonna marry. This is a woman that we're gonna fuck. It's gonna be great, and then, well, it might not be great. Shit might be sorry actually. But at the end, the point is to get a nut off, and I'm never gonna be with this woman. And then, in the meantime, I'm still not dismissing the fact that the right woman could come along and make me forget all the rest of these women, though.
And there's a school of thought that many hold as gospel that men will fuck anything walking and they will never say no to pussy in their face. And that's not true.
Not even close to true.
There's plenty of times you're just not in the mood, or like you could have in your mind everything you need for a man to fuck you. You're bad, like you got this career, you got this and that going for you on paper, but your attitude's some shit.
Yeah. And when you got a shitty attitude, well, that can make pussy pretty sorry.
Yes.
However, as an offender myself, as an offender myself, I mean, hell, if it's right, I'll fuck a chick with a bad attitude. But I still know
but you want to. But there's plenty that you've not wanted to,
exactly.
and have been like, no, I don't feel like it. But the attitude comes along like, wait a minute.
Yeah. And you know what? And that goes the opposite way too. Because I mean, I remember several times I might have been sitting in a bar or at a social event, and it might have been a chick I didn't find attractive, and then I talked to her for a while, and I'd be like, you know what? I think I'll fuck this chick. And I had no intention or desire to fuck them. But they were just cool as shit. So I ended up fucking them. One, because I knew they wanted to fuck. And two, because they was cool as shit. Some of them I fucked for quite a while. But they was cool as shit. Whereas on the opposite side of that, yeah, you're right. There's been plenty of chicks that I was like, you know what? I probably want to fuck her. And then they started talking to me, and I'm just like, nah, I'm good. Mm-hmm. I'll pass. But, I mean, all of that stuff is evaluated when you start thinking about sex, how quickly that can make some people catch feelings, how quickly it could put you in a compromising predicament. So you kind of got to evaluate all that shit properly. But at the same time, going back to, you know, the original statement, like this is probably a lot of things that when people say they think like a man, when women say they think like a man, that it's not taken into consideration. Because even in thinking like a man, there's a certain amount of emotion and rationale that's involved, because of men in general are rational creatures.
And there's always some kind of quote unquote explanation of why a woman might be feeling a certain way about a man. Mercury in retrograde, which I know we've heard that shit a million times, which is the biggest load of shit I've ever heard. To, you know, its cycle is coming on, or I think like a man too much, that's why nobody wants to fuck me, or that's why I can't find somebody that I can respect, or, you know, I want to be with. And men do the same thing. I mean, we're full of excuses when we're not getting the results that we feel that we deserve based on the work that we're putting in. But I think most of it really comes down to looking inside yourself, looking at what your intentions are, and what kind of person you want to be. And if the other person can sense that you're faking it, you're not going to end up with anybody that wants to be with you.
Yeah. I think, you know, on top of that, that's why it's very important early on to ask somebody what their intentions are. Because at least, I mean, if you're dealing with somebody real, I know I've told plenty of people, you know, look, you cool, but you're not the one for me. So, I mean, we can fuck if that's what you want to do. Like we can sleep together. But I've already told you like where I stand in relation to the situation and what I intend to get out of this. And on the opposite side of that, I mean, there's females that I met, and I was like, look, you're great, you're smart, you got a lot going on for yourself. I'd like to be in a relationship with you. Before I even had this conversation with you, there is nobody else. I've already gotten rid of anything that was pending or anything that was recreational. All that is out of the door. I've cleared the roster. I've got rid of people that don't need to be around. I am here for you. And then they didn't follow through. So, you know, it's one of them things where we think, I'll say in both long-term and short-term goals. And what I mean by that is, if I'm out and my short-term goal is to get laid, well, I'm thinking about getting laid. I'm not thinking about, am I going to be with this woman down the line? But we evaluate that when we're having a conversation with somebody. Like, you already know if you want to be with somebody. And then letting somebody know your intentions up front gives them the power to make the decision if they want to go along with it. If you can meet my intentions, fine. If you can't, then you don't necessarily need to meet them. But just know that you're not going any further than whatever relationship is predetermined.
And the truth about men, you know, contrary to what many Tyler Perry movies or Hollywood wants to paint, especially black men, you know, is that we do seek companionship ultimately, but with someone that we truly care about and we feel that truly cares about us. You know, when I met my wife, I was totally at a stage where I was not interested in a relationship. You know, I had these grand plans. I was just gonna play the field, do whatever I want, but she had other plans for that, you know. And when it's the right one, it all comes together, seemingly, you know, without any additional effort on your part. You're almost like along for the ride. And I think that's the most important thing, that we're always trying to rush to something that's not there, faking the funk when it's not real.
Yeah. Instead
of, you know, working on yourself, being the best person that you can be for yourself and for your future wife or husband.
Well, I mean, that's really what it comes down to, though. Like when you look at it, like I can't even see myself presenting myself to a potential partner if I haven't gotten to the point where I can offer the best of myself. And the reason that I say that is that a lot of people always say, you find somebody and you all grow together. Well, that's only partially true. And the reason that I say that is you should, on both sides, you should bring your best foot forward. You should bring your best to the table. And then when you all meet, there should be continued growth, but not because you all were still growing as people, because y'all came together and you elevated each other and it spurred more growth. Opposed to people coming in and being like, well, I'm screwed up and now I want to grow with you.
And we're talking beyond career. We're talking about, are you a compassionate person? Are you open-minded? Are you willing to fight for the betterment of your relationship? Yeah. Are you open to starting a family or expanding your family, whatever the case may be? It's not just about career, because careers come and they go. People get laid off. It really is about what kind of person are you? What kind of support can you be for that partner?
Yeah, you know what? That brings up another interesting topic that kind of segues perfectly into that, and that's social evolution, because people don't understand just how much stuff falls on the outside of career. When people think about growing with each other, they always think about getting a house and getting cars together and having financial independence. Well, especially in the African American community, social evolution happened. And what happened was, and that's why I always say I love the movie Fences for this. Like, there was a time where, and I hate to even put it this way, where a lot of men were somewhat trash. I'm just gonna be blunt about it. Men were somewhat trash. But the problem was, back in the day, society had built families so dependent upon the man as far as bringing money home and providing for the family that women couldn't go anywhere if they wanted to. And men were still cheating. Men were still having kids outside of marriage. And women couldn't do anything about it. And then social evolution happened, which was, that's a marvelous thing. And what happened was, women can now get jobs where only men used to be able to work. Women could have financial independence. They didn't need to, depend on a man for their finances anymore, which in and of itself gave women the power to leave, which is all the positive aspects of social evolution and how it played out.
So they should be able to have the power to leave if it's an untenable situation.
Absolutely, but the negative aspect of it that happened is that a lot of the skills that men still look for in women, which you clearly outlined a lot of them already, like being able to be compassionate and understanding and knowing when to comfort, knowing when to nurture, knowing when to just be a woman. A lot of those skills that men still look for became completely underrated. Like, there wasn't stuff. Like, usually now, especially in this day and age, you meet somebody and one of the first things they let you know is what they do for a living, or
one of the first 4 questions they ask you: where do you work?
What do you do? Because that is a important evaluating factor on if you're going to be with somebody.
But you're approaching someone with a checklist.
Yeah. But that's why it's a positive and it's a negative thing. Like, whereas on one side it gave independence and power, on the opposite side it basically neutralized a lot of basic skills that men still look for, and that in and of itself, and we were just talking about that, started to diminish certain skills in men, and we were just talking about that, like chivalry being dead.
Chivalry is definitely one of those things.
Like it's not even necessary that
the knight in shining armor motif.
Like they're just not. It's not value, and especially being Southern raised. Like, I still thoroughly believe in opening doors and asking the father before you marry somebody and everything that goes along with what you're supposed to do as a man. However, I can also see why a lot of that stuff is underrated, because women right now, especially, like they're rewarding stuff that comes along at the basic level of being a man. Like, every time I hear a woman say he's a good man, he take care of his kids. Like, I'm sitting there thinking, like, he's a good man because he take care of his kids. All right, I understand what you're saying. I'm not debating that, but I understand, as I was growing up, that like taking care of your kids is kind of automatic. Like, if you're a man that's made kids, you're supposed to take care of your kids. If you don't take care of your kids, well, you're kind of a piece of shit. Yeah. It's just the reality of it. Like, don't reward me for taking care of my kids or taking out the trash.
But
Or
we're also in a culture now, though, where it's an assumption